Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneur, intrapreneurs, infopreneurs, and innopreneurs. I want to ask you just this one question. Why is it a requirement to be intelligently, emotionally, and physically strong? And to think about that question. To me, Frankie Kington, let's touch on intelligence. So we all know that we go to school, and we go to school to learn. Just think when we're babies and we're small, we're always learning. I just love watching my niece. She's coming up to 3 years of age now. And the way she just explores and just knocks things over. Because she's learning intelligence. Babies learn intelligence by exploring things. And it's lovely just watching them grow and watching them pulling things apart, and picking things up, and doing things which you don't know about because they're not intelligent enough. But just watching them reminds me when I was young. So I think it's really important as entrepreneurs and thought leaders and as business people to look back to when we was young, how innocent we were. We didn't know a lot, did we? We were always curious about things, always getting hurt or falling over or banging our head or bruises. Because we're vulnerable, but we're intelligent enough to try these things and to see why, what works and what doesn't, and what we can and what we can't do. So then as we get older, we get into our teens. We go to school, what the school teaches to learn and to grow. We get taught by teachers and we learn our education. And if we're intelligent enough, we pass our exams. Because we all have to take exams, don't we, when we're at school. It makes us feel intelligent. And we're learning and we're growing in our mind and our intellect. So that's another side of intelligence. Going to school, we do exams, we do lessons, which teach us to be intelligent. And if we're intelligent enough, we pass them lessons through our exams. That's how we grow intelligence. Then maybe we go to, after school, we finish our school, we go to college or university to extend our intelligence, our education, which is really important. So intelligence is really vital, isn't it? It's vital for you, it's vital for me, and it's vital for us all to develop this intelligence. So there's a good idea of how I explain to you about intelligence. I hope you find that valuable. What about emotions now that I'd like to talk about? What do we mean emotions? Well, we all have emotions. Maybe somebody dies in our family. We get upset. Maybe somebody upsets us and emotions get the better of us. We split up with a partner. That's emotional. Or maybe somebody upsets us. That's emotional. We get into a bit of an argument or maybe get into a fight, especially when we're young. So our emotions take over us. And like I've just said, when you're emotional, you're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking rationally. You're thinking irrational. So your emotions, you tend to do things what you regret because you're not in control of your emotions. So what we're talking about here, being in control of our emotions. We can all have emotions. We have emotions for the right reasons. But in business, as entrepreneurs and thought leaders, whether you go into business as an enterprise or organization or a venture, it's very important that we have very high emotions. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about emotional intelligence. They say that emotional intelligence is higher than having a high IQ. Isn't that amazing? So emotional intelligence means that we need these as business people and entrepreneurs. Because when we're making decisions, people let us down, people upset us, because we get disappointment as entrepreneurs. People say no. We have to have that high emotional intelligence to deal with certain situations. So that emotional intelligence has to be high, because when the roller coaster, being in business or being an entrepreneur or a thought leader, when we get the knocks and the ups and downs, have to be strong enough to take them and to not take it personal. So emotional intelligence has to be really high as a person and as a partner in business. There's a book I like to read, it's called Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence. Study it and read it, it's fantastic. It teaches you about emotional intelligence, it teaches you about cognitive behavior therapy. They say that emotional intelligence is higher than having IQ or a positive IQ. So you have emotional intelligence, having emotional quotient, which is really important for us to really develop that and understand emotional intelligence. When we need control of our emotions, we make the right decisions for our life. When we have bad emotions or negative emotions, we tend to make the wrong decisions and end up suffering. And we don't really need that for our lives, do we? Because we've got our life to get on with, and we've got people to save and our mission on what we want to do with our lives. So people rely on us. So remember, that's the importance of having emotional intelligence. Remember that book, Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence. So there's the two virtues that I've touched on, intelligence and emotions. The third one I'm going to touch on is physicality. What do I mean physically? But we all know the positive word of physically, and everybody knows it because this word, everybody does it, the most popular one in our lives. Maybe making love with our partners. That's the most physical act that we do. Because it wasn't for my parents doing that, I wouldn't be here now talking to you. And that's what makes the world go round. That's the most physical emotion that we do to create people like ourselves in this world. So that's physical. We have to have a balance for that as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs and thought leaders or business people. So that's the positive side of physical. What about being fit? Exercise is important. That's another physical side of us because we need to have exercise. Because when we're an entrepreneur, we get busy and able to travel to different countries. You have to be physically fit. If you're not physically fit, you become fatigued and exhausted. So who do we serve then? So it's really important to have a balance of intellect, emotions, and physicality, all imbalanced. That makes us better people as thought leaders because we're thinking and we always feed the subconscious mind. And that makes us better people to serve the people who we need to serve. It could be around the world. It could be loads of different destinations and countries. That is what we're here for, to serve the people and carry out our duty or our mission in life. So there I've given you the 3 virtues of why it's important. And we require these for our lives so that we can become better people and make better and wiser choices. So please remember this year, I'm still working on it because it takes time. As we grow, as we develop, as we get better at what we're doing, we start to see the intellect, our emotions, and the physical side of our human being and what we do playing an important part in all our adventures and endeavors. So please remember that. Think of some of the most successful people. They have intellect, they have emotions, and they have physicality. I know there's certain types of people who I know are really in control of their emotions all over the world, in East Asia, all over Europe. you can see that they're in control and they have this intellect, the emotions intact, and they're very physical. Because we need to be fit, we need to be active, and we need to show that we have a balance in our life, but we are leading by example. Because with leaders, if we're not leading by example, who's going to follow us? Who's going to believe us? Who's going to trust what we do in society? And we all know it's about gaining and having trust. That's what causes people to like us and respect who we are. So think about that. They're the requirements of you performing at your highest level. The highest level of intellect, the highest level of your emotions, and the highest level of being physical. Because being thought leaders and entrepreneurs can be quite demanding. If we ain't got the right virtues and the right aspects, qualities in our life, we only end up suffering. And these three are really important. If you haven't got these, who do you end up saving? So just thought I'd leave that there with you. I just thought I would let you think about what I've really talked about. I think it's really important. And you'll find that a lot of people feel it's really important as well for their lives. So how do you feel about that? Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs, infopreneurs, intrapreneurs, and innerpreneurs. Everything is about the workings of what's going on inside us. When we understand what's going on inside us, we can become even more powerful, perform even more efficiently and elegantly and on a composed level. Think about people who have intelligence. Think about the people who are emotionally strong. Think about the people who are physical. And what you find, they have an abundance of joy and happiness about what they do because they know this is really important. Intellect. We can read books as well because books are part of our intellect. Study is part of our intellect. Doing courses is part of our intellect. How willing and how determined are you to be the best person you want to be? How determined are you to read them books? Because usually books, whether it's on thought or entrepreneurs or people successful in business, what's great about reading books, there's questions at the back of that book. And if you can answer the 3 questions, you'll start to understand what that book's about. That's where that intellect comes in. We're studying books. How far are you going to take your intellect? What about studying courses? Do you know the most successful people study and study and study and become a lifelong student? Are you prepared to become a lifelong student? How far are you going to go to study and pass course and exams? Become a lifelong student. Become a lifelong student. Because when you do that, you grow and you get better and you get better and you get better. And then when it comes to put the final touch on your life as a father or entrepreneur, you're prepared and you're grounded and you're prepared to take on the world. So ladies and gentlemen, please, if you like this channel, subscribe to my channel below, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment. Your comments are really important. And I love to hear the feedback from people's comments. So I hope I gave you value in this YouTube video channel. And I appreciate all the people who tuned in and listened to what I had to say. And please have a think about it, what I've said, very, very deeply, because it may take you to the next level for your success in your life. So thanks again, entrepreneurs, innopreneurs, for your time and your patience. And I appreciate you all. And please take care, look after yourselves, and my warmest wishes to you all. For my next channel, on video channel, bye-bye.